Alongside Riley Skinner, I'm Kyle Montgomery, giving you a look at the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets Spring Football Report, a team that only had one player drafted in this year's NFL draft, in Stephen Hill, of course. They get 15 back, but boy, with Stephen Hill gone, that's a huge void to fill.
It is. That's a big void to fill, especially when you really come down to one receiver in that triple option offense. Sure. They've got a couple tall sophomores. They've got Jeff Green and Darren Waller that'll be competing for that spot. But I don't think they're a Stephen Hill right now. And so they have been able to replace after Demaryius Thomas, who was Stephen Hill. They had Calvin Johnson. So they're accustomed to getting some wide receivers in there. Let's hope these guys grow into one of those.
Here's what else you need to know about the Yellow Jackets. 8 starters return on offense, including starting quarterback Tevin Washington and running back Orwin Smith. Jeremiah Tauchu leads a group of 7 returning on defense. But the big question, as we just discussed, is at the wide receiver position, something that Paul Johnson talked about.
The receivers is still pretty much an open thing. We've got probably, I'd say, 4 guys that are competing that are fairly close. Jeff Green and Darren Waller were 2 freshmen who played a little bit last year, who are big kids. One's 6'6", the other 6'3", that can run and can do some things. And Chris Jackson is finally starting to get healthy. He's a guy that hadn't played a lot, but he'll be a senior. And Jeremy Moore's in that same boat. He will be a junior receiver who hadn't played a lot because of injury. Now he's healthy, and he had a really good spring. And then we'll have 3 scholarship guys come in the fall.
All right, you just heard from Paul Johnson. We want to hear from you now again, Riley, on this team's biggest strength.
On the strength in the Paul Johnson triple option offense, you need reps. That's what helps you get better. And they've got 4 returning offensive linemen and their quarterback coming back. And so that's by far their biggest strength. And when you've got guys that have been around the block in the triple option offense, it becomes a machine and it's hard to stop.
No big secret that the triple option is this team's biggest strength. All right, now on the flip side, give us the area of this team that you're most concerned with.
Well, it's a concern that's kind of been revolving around this team for a while, and it's their defense. Al Groh's done a good job. They made progress from the year before last year, but they're still not to where they can win 10, 11 games. They're giving up too many points, and they've got 1 defensive lineman returning. They lose Julian Burnett. There's going to be an area of concern for that defense. They've got to put up a lot of points, which they always do. They need to start not allowing so many points and losing some of those close games.
Now let's look at the 2012 schedule for the Yellow Jackets. We'll get a good idea just how good they will be in Game 1 as they open up in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. September 15th, they'll head to Atlanta for a date with a tough Virginia team. They'll play at Clemson on October 6th and end the year against Georgia. So a tough road to hoe here, Riley. What's your prediction?
I think they're going to win 8 games. I think Virginia Tech's going to be the coastal winner by beating Georgia Tech, but I think their defense still isn't where they need to be. They're not as rugged and tough and stout as they need to be to win 10, 11 games.
All right, for Riley Skinner, I'm Kyle Montgomery. That was a look at the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets Spring Football Report right here on the ACC DN.